Meet Hiragi Shingo, who believes that the most rebellious period is speaking to your parents with a defiant attitude. But in his life, the situation is a little different, because on the day he's playing a game, his younger sister Ibara comes in shouting, telling him to quiet down because the game sound is too loud. In this rainy season, Shingo insists the game sound isn't too loud, but she argues, this is the living room, not a concert hall. He jokingly wonders if Ibara's spirit animal is a complaint for him, noting how much she has changed since childhood. He wants the bond between him and Ibara to always stay strong, but his sister's rebellious attitude is making it quite difficult for him. Turns out, family bonding is easier when nobody talks. Just when he tries to leave, his sister stops him, saying he's distracted her from studying, and now she wants him to take a bit of responsibility. He suspects that Ibara might ask him for money, but she tells him she wants to play games with him. He was ready to lose cash, not his KD ratio, and wonders why Ibara suddenly developed an interest in gaming, so rare for her. But she says it doesn't mean anything. She just wants to play. Shingo finds it all quite strange, while Ibara stands there thinking she feels really frustrated because she wants her brother to spend time with her, to play games together. But instead, he does everything alone, and that makes her feel really bad. Ibara believes it's a brother's job to care for his sister, so she starts Mission Spoiled Child. Seeing her brother gaming in the living room, she brings her books there to do homework, just to get a moment to connect with him. Step 1. Invade his territory. Step 2. Cry if it fails. She makes an excuse to play, saying if her brother can't play alone, they should play a game together. But he responds that playing with her would be even more boring. That upsets Ibara more, and she walks off and unplugs the gaming cable from the switchboard. This is not sibling love, this is psychological warfare. Shingo suddenly shouts that he hasn't saved his 3 hours of hard work yet. Then, seeing Ibara's rebellious mode, he allows her to play, but adds that she can only play for 15 minutes. But 15 minutes feels too short to Ibara. She wants to play around 12 rounds with her brother. Still, Shingo gives her a seat and tells her that, while she plays, he'll quickly go out for some shopping. Ibara is quite surprised because now she has to play alone. She quickly stops him and brings some game DVDs, telling him she wants to play these games. Shingo is shocked to see the DVDs. He wonders how she got such famous games. Either Ibara has connections, or she's part of an underground gamer cartel. She makes an excuse, saying a friend left them at her place. Shingo decides to go shopping later, and for now, they can play together. Ibara blushes, thinking she was nearly caught, because she spent 2 hours choosing these games 3 days ago, just so she could play them with her brother. On the other hand, Shingo asks if she'll go study in her room later, if he plays with her now. Hearing this, she gets really angry, and Shingo wonders if he just made a blunder. That moment when you realize diplomacy works better than logic with sisters. Suddenly, she jumped into his lap and casually declared the floor to be too cold, so she sat there. Shingo wonders what kind of behavior this is, while Ibara, blushing, thinks this behavior might be a bit overkill. He briefly checks if she's updated her firmware overnight. Shingo feels there's no doubt his sister's furious. He asks her which games she wants to play, but Ibara stays lost in thought and doesn't answer. When he calls her again, Ibara suddenly snaps at him, asking why he's looking at her. Seeing this, he realizes she's desperate to play, and that's why she's so angry. And then they both start playing games, while he ponders their childhood, how they used to play together, and how sometimes, just to cheer her up, he would purposely lose. And during this, they both start playing games, and Ibara feels really happy about it. Then he tells her that in this position, he can't properly play the game. So could she sit on the sofa? Hearing this, Ibara blushes in embarrassment and suddenly shouts that both he and the sofa are stupid. The sofa files a formal complaint for emotional damage. Shingo doesn't understand any of it. He just feels his sister is mostly in a very rebellious mood. Heavy rain begins to fall outside, while inside, Ibara eagerly rushes to start the game. She tells her brother that if she wins, he owes her ice cream. He taunts her, saying if she loses, she'll have to do her homework. Classic sibling gambling minus the money plus emotional damage. And Ibara thinks to herself, there's no way she's going to lose on that deal. As soon as the game starts, the power goes out due to the bad weather. Even the weather knows how to rage quit. Shingo notes that maybe the breaker has stopped working, so he heads toward it. Ibara quickly rushes after him and gently says she won't sit here alone and will go with him. He muses if she were always this polite, life would be much easier, and he takes her along, carefully switching the breaker back on. But peace never lasts longer than a buffering screen. As soon as the power comes back on, Shingo tells Ibara he needs to check her computer in her room to see if it's working. Meanwhile, she starts contemplating how just when she began enjoying playing the game with her brother, all this happened. Now she feels like something really important is slipping from her mind, but she can't figure out what. And by the time she realizes it, it's already too late, because she suddenly remembers that the receipt for those game DVDs she bought for her brother is lying near her computer. As soon as she rushes into her room to hide it, she sees her brother already holding it. The universe really said, "Too late, loser." Seeing this, Ibara's face goes pale. Her brother turns around and asks if she bought all the games. Now she finds herself in a really awkward situation, and nothing comes to her mind about how to make an excuse. She suddenly makes an argument that her friend left the receipt along with the goodies. Shingo understands and pats her, saying he'll never be angry at his sister, so she doesn't need to lie. Instant regret for not going into hiding. Ibara flushes, turns her face away, and asks him not to treat her like a child. And she softly calls her brother by his name and tells him they should now go and continue their game. Hearing this, he freezes on the spot, while she wonders why he isn't saying anything, why he's suddenly silent. Then he says, "Let's start the game." And Ibara, annoyed, tells him she wouldn't waste time like this with anyone else but her brother. Then the two of them sit down and play for hours like kids again. Maturity, temporarily suspended for sibling bonding purposes. The next morning in the kitchen, Ibara's mom thanks her for helping and hands her a warm omelet, instructing her to add some ketchup and take it to Shingo. With that, she finds herself on yet another mission. But as soon as she brings the omelet to her brother, Shingo is suddenly surprised. He doesn't understand why his sister shows such a rebellious mood only toward him. And when he looks at the omelet, it feels like someone didn't pour ketchup, but spilled blood on it. And he wonders if she did it on purpose. He briefly wonders if she joined a cult or just ran out of ketchup control. On the other hand, Ibara is quite angry, thinking her brother promised to buy her ice cream if she won the game. But it's been a week, and he's totally forgotten. She even tried to shape ice cream with ketchup on the omelet. Yet her brother didn't react at all. In her head, an announcement just affirms artistic expression. Failed. Message delivery also failed. She wonders how her brother can be so careless and clueless. Because of not getting the ice cream, she decides to never forgive him. But then, she opts to take her bird-brained brother along for shopping. Operation Bond Over Broccoli has officially begun. She tells her mom they're out of dinner supplies, so her mom starts making a list. Shingo wonders how his sister's being so obedient today. After getting the list, Ibara declares that she can't carry all the stuff alone, so she invites her brother to come along as her back carrier. Sibling love, now disguised as unpaid labor. She feels proud of naturally inviting him. But after deliberating for a moment, Shingo informs her he'll go alone because he can do all the carrying by himself. Hearing this, Ibara believes her plan is failing, keeping self-reliance unlocked. Emotional damage ongoing. As Shingo gets ready to leave, he notes that this is also a good way to digest his food, so he'll go alone. Ibara replies that she doesn't want her brother getting lost during shopping. He walks up to her, suddenly snatches the ingredient list from her hand, and walks away while she stands there staring out the door. But after walking a little, he turns back to look at his sister's face and asks if maybe she actually wants to come along. Hearing this, Ibara blushes deeply. Suddenly she snaps and remarks that nobody wants to go with him. Hearing that, Shingo heads off alone for shopping, while she stands behind, calling out that yes, he should go quickly and bring the groceries home. Ibara feels really upset because she messed everything up, and this was her only chance to go shopping with her brother. Seeing all this from a distance, their mom walks over and tells Ibara she forgot to add mayonnaise to the list, so she should go and catch up with her brother. He couldn't have gone too far. Hearing this, Ibara gets up and, while heading out, simply tells her mom that this is all very annoying. A new mission continues. Mission: act annoyed while secretly loving it. Ibara comments that now she has no choice left, so she'll go and catch her brother. But deep inside, she herself wanted this. Her mom watches her leave with a smile, knowing Ibara loves her brother very much. She suddenly bumps into Shingo, and as he turns around, she announces that mom sent her to get mayo since it's finished at home. Adding that, seeing him alone, she joined him. He insists she should not feel sorry for his solo status. But secretly, Ibara's heart is gleefully skipping around at the thought of being with her brother. Now, while walking down the street with her brother, an idea forms in Ibara's mind. She's going to have the ice cream he promised. She wants her favorite flavor, mint chocolate chip. The problem is, her brother doesn't seem to remember any of it. So she asks him if he's forgetting something, and hearing that, he looks quite surprised. He quickly runs a mental scan like a student trying to remember if there was homework. He gets confused. He has no idea what his sister is trying to remind him of. Recently, he's been trying to stay out of her way, but now, she looks agitated and serious, but he doesn't know why. Meanwhile, Ibara muses that her brother still hasn't remembered the ice cream promise. Ibara, annoyed, gives a hint by threatening to delete all his game saves and data. Sibling diplomacy, now backed by digital terrorism. Her brother panics and begs her not to do that. She then assumes maybe he still hasn't caught the hint, so she begins to remind him directly. But just as she's about to say something, she spots her classmate approaching. She suddenly panics. She doesn't want her friend to see her with her brother. So, she starts pushing Shingo, telling him to hide and stay out of sight while he is completely confused. He suddenly realizes he's being treated like a wanted criminal, with zero context. Just then, Ibara's classmate Ruri comes over and offers to walk with her to the supermarket. But she doesn't want to leave her brother behind, so she snaps, saying she's in a hurry, because there's an emergency. She has to deliver dinner supplies. Her friend, confused, says it's still lunchtime, but walks away. Ibara feels a bit awkward. She mentally adds acting skills to her resume, with an asterisk. After Ruri leaves, Ibara realizes she really showed up at the worst time. She calls out to her brother, but he's nowhere to be seen. She assumes he might be hiding, but then realizes he's actually not there at all. Either he vanished or joined a magician's guild. She feels like he left her behind and went shopping on his own. She searches for him in different places but can't find him. Now she becomes worried. She sits on a bench, upset, wondering where he went. He still hasn't texted her. Just then, Shingo walks up to her. He gently presses a cold can of ice cream against Ibara's face. She looks at him and asks where he was. He claims that while she was talking to her friend, he quickly went to the convenience store to get her the ice cream he promised. Then he hands her favorite flavor, mint chocolate chip. Shingo finally unlocks the achievement, Brother of the Year. She feels really happy seeing the ice cream, but doesn't show it. With a cold attitude, she states that if he went that far, she'll at least try it. As soon as she takes the first bite, she absolutely loves it. But she feels that it would be a waste to eat if she finishes it all alone. She offers the spoon to Shingo. He blushes, believing this is something couples usually do in public, and now people are watching. But he doesn't want Ibara slipping back into rebellious mode, because surviving one emotional roller coaster per day is enough. But she is doing her best to grow closer to her brother. Just then, she also realizes this might look too weird, and she starts blushing heavily. She reassures herself that this is fine. They used to do this in childhood too, and she shouldn't feel embarrassed. She holds the spoon forward and feeds him. As he leans in to take a bite, Ibara's classmate Ruri reappears. Seeing her, they both panic. Ibara rushes to Ruri to clear the confusion. Ruri asks if that's her boyfriend. Ibara hesitates, thinking that even if she says he's her brother, Ruri might get the wrong idea. Before Ibara can respond, Shingo casually mentions he's her brother. Ruri looks relieved as he explains that she jokes like that sometimes. She smiles and walks off. Ibara shoots him a glare, then suddenly yells at him while he asks what he did wrong. Classic sibling plot twist. You're guilty even when you're helpful. The story shifts to Ibara's school, where her friend Ruri is texting her brother and feeling annoyed. She notices he's recently become very clingy, and deep down, she feels jealous, recalling Ibara and her brother eating ice cream together. Sibling goals or just cold dessert diplomacy. The lines are blurry. Just then, Ibara rushes into the classroom and tells Ruri to forget what happened yesterday. When Ruri starts to repeat it, Ibara shushes her and claims it was just a joke. She's not that close to Oni-chan. It is like wearing merch and saying you're not a fan. But the moment Ruri hears Oni-chan, she realizes she is indeed close to him. Meanwhile, standing at a distance, her other friend Yuri overhears everything. She joins them and adds that she's also annoyed with her brother because he doesn't share anything. Ruri adds that her brother always causes trouble. At this point, brothers are just unpaid chaos consultants. The two of them ask Ibara what kind of relationship she has with her brother. She replies that she fights with her brother too. Just recently, when their parents were working late, they had to order food, but it turned into an argument because her brother wanted sushi while she preferred pizza. Shingo doesn't agree with Ibara because he really wants sushi. After a long sushi or pizza debate, he gives in and decides they'll have pizza today. Sushi can wait. Diplomatic relations between siblings have never been this saucy. Ibara tells the story like her brother is the villain, but her friends are impressed that he gave up his choice for her. She insists he's troublesome and could have agreed sooner. Her friends don't see it that way, but she begins to tell the next day's story. She recalls borrowing a manga to give her brother and discloses to her friends that she went to his room to read it. But he told her to leave so he could focus on his report. Ibara, however, refused, saying she was keeping an eye on him. Then she adds he reminded her she was in his room, disturbing him. Her friends are shocked. Ibara was in her brother's room. She defends herself, saying it was just for surveillance, but her friends blush, thinking she just wanted to spend time with him. Welcome to Ibara's security agency, watching brothers since bedtime. After hearing all this, Ruri and Yuri think Ibara's brother sounds really nice. Ibara disagrees, stating he's not gentle or caring. He's an idiot who doesn't understand anything. But then she blushes and admits, maybe, he's a little bit cool. Translation: I complain daily, but would punch anyone else who insults him. Yuri teases Ibara as she catches her blushing. She denies it and claims that she hates her brother. But her friends remind her that she uses Oni-chan when talking about him. They say if she doesn't introduce them to him soon, they'll tell the whole class. The casual blackmail is most effective form of teenage friendship. Ibara gets embarrassed and insists she's not a bro-con. That night, she plans to read manga to forget everything, but Shingo asks her to read it in her own room. Ibara, annoyed, responds that whatever's his is hers too, including the room. He's left stunned by her logic. He's just realized he's living in a shared space treaty he never signed. That night, Shingo returns home exhausted, his mind still on her sister's rebellious attitude. It forced him to work overtime, making him arrive home much later than usual. He's well aware of Ibara's sour mood and decides it's best to just eat dinner quietly and not bother her. As he thinks about her conflicting behavior, rebellious one moment and suddenly sweet the next, he wonders if she's just going through a phase. The thought crosses his mind that once he saves enough money, it might be time to start living separately. But as soon as he steps inside, his sister suddenly calls out to him from behind. Spoiler: emotional blackmail and cupcakes won't let him escape that easily. As Shingo turns around, he sees his sister standing behind him and is surprised she's still awake this late at night. She grabs his hand and takes him to the kitchen, saying she wants to give him something. He mentally reviews every possible crime he might have committed. When he enters the kitchen, she places beautifully prepared cupcakes in front of him. Ibara, annoyed, tells him these are cupcakes she made for her friend, but she wants him to taste them first. Shingo asks why she didn't get their parents to try them. Ibara quickly makes an excuse, saying she wants his childish taste buds to test them, since they're both close in age. A flawless excuse, backed by zero science and maximum sibling logic. Ibara secretly made the cupcakes for her brother, who's been coming home late due to overtime. Unaware, she's the reason for it. She tells him to eat them all, and when he asks why, she says they're for her friend's birthday, and she's just practicing. He didn't know tasting came with a dessert death sentence. He really likes that his sister put so much effort into something for her classmates. As he takes a bite of the cupcake, the strong coffee flavor hits, and a wave of nostalgia follows. He remembers how, during his entrance exams, his sister used to make his favorite coffee cupcakes for him. The sweet taste of caffeine and manipulated nostalgia. After eating the cupcake, Shingo thinks about how his sister used to be quite sweet, but now often stays in a rebellious mood. Just then, she asks how the cupcake was. She looks very nervous, and Shingo notices it. He tells her the cupcake is delicious, even better than before. Hearing this, she turns beet red, but instead of reacting, Ibara casually shrugs. Well, that's obvious. Her ego gains plus 110 confidence points. Shingo, growing suspicious, asks if the friend she's taking the cupcake to happens to like coffee. When she nods, his mind immediately jumps to the possibility of a boy at school. He compliments her effort, saying whoever gets the cupcakes is lucky, but she catches on to his meaning and fires back. She made plenty so he can eat them all. Shingo blinks. Wasn't it just a taste test? Ibara, now annoyed, corrects him. It's a test batch, and his role is to eat them all. In that moment, he realizes he's not the supportive brother. He's the lab rat. Then she brings out 10 more massive cupcakes. He stares in horror. He's barely survived the first 3. Now 10 more? The odds are grim. 10 cupcakes, 1 soul, 0 chance of survival. Meanwhile, she looks at him fondly, thinking how tired he's been lately, working overtime. She just wants to pamper him a little. Without warning, she steps behind him and starts giving him a shoulder massage. Panicked, he jerks upright and demands to know what she's doing. A reward, Ibara replies, for taste testing. He insists he doesn't need it. He's fine. Her hands drop. She'd worked up so much courage for this one small gesture, and now she's crushed. Still, she gently starts again. Shingo, stunned, wonders what got into her. His mind spins. Maybe she does like someone. Cupcakes and massages? That's practically a confession. Worried she might need money, he digs out 3,000 yen and hands it to her, acting like the responsible big brother. For the date, he adds, with the guy you're giving the cupcakes to. Ibara freezes, a complete misunderstanding. He tells her to keep it an extra allowance, and reminds her that she can always come to him with things like this. She stares at him, stunned. Tears begin to well up. Nothing hurts more than being misunderstood, especially in cupcake language. She throws the money onto the table and runs off. He calls after her, but she's already curled up outside the room, wrapped in a blanket, quietly crying. All she ever wanted was to show him love, but every time, it backfires. Moments later, a knock at the door. Shingo stands outside. She insists she's not upset and definitely has no crush. He asks her to come out. She does, hesitantly, and finally explains the story behind the cupcakes, the same ones he unknowingly praised. As he turns to go, she grabs his shirt, flushes, and gives a shaky thumbs up. She just wants him to give his best. Shingo pauses, surprised by the sudden show of support. He smiles gently and assures her her brother will do his best in his studies. That's all it takes. She bolts off, red-faced. He stands there quietly realizing maybe his sister doesn't hate him as much as he thought. On the other side of the door, Ibara sinks to the floor, face burning. She mutters to herself that everything was completely normal, totally fine, nothing unusual. Still, she wonders, why does her heart feel like it's doing backflips? The next morning, their mom takes one look at Shingo's eyes and comments that he clearly didn't sleep. Caffeine, the official scapegoat of emotional siblings. A few days later, Shingo and Ibara's parents leave a note. They won't be home tonight, so the siblings should handle dinner themselves. Ibara feels thrilled to have the house to herself with just her brother. Shingo, noticing her rare cheerfulness, wonders why his usually agitated sister seems so excited. It's giving calm before the storm. While eating, Ibara spots a newspaper nearby with an ad for a nostalgic movie. Her heart stirs. She wants to invite her brother to watch it with her, but too nervous to speak, she quietly tosses the paper toward Shingo, hoping he'll notice the ad and catch on. Her version of communication, paper-based telepathy. Shingo, puzzled by her strange behavior, glances at the paper and tosses it into the trash. He casually tells her that she should throw her own trash next time. Mission movie night. Instantly rejected like a job application. She's stunned he completely missed the clue. If hints were grenades, he'd still walk away unharmed. Later, while they're putting away the dishes, she gently asks if he's watched any movies lately. Shingo shakes his head. He hasn't. Still pushing, Ibara tries another angle. She asks what day it is, hoping the clue will finally land, but he takes it the wrong way, assuming she's poking fun at him for having no one to watch a Friday night movie with. His ego kicks in. Straightening up a bit, he insists he knows exactly what day it is. She freezes. Whatever flicker of energy she had vanishes, her face going unreadable. He frowns, unsure where the mood turned. He heads to the kitchen to grab some water, replaying the exchange in his mind. When he comes back, the room is darker. The lights are off, though the TV is still flickering in the corner. His eyes scan toward the sofa, only to pause. Ibara's on the floor now, sitting cross-legged with a bowl of popcorn between them and two unopened cans of soda at her side. He's stunned. What is she doing down there? And why is she still awake? Ibara, seeing him hesitate, brightly calls out that if he leaves, she'll eat all the popcorn alone. It's clear now. She wants him to stay and join her for the movie. Shingo, confused by her sudden shift, worries she might be picking up habits the wrong way while their parents are out. Left with no better option, he agrees to stay. He's one skipped movie away from calling for parental backup. She beams her mission is a success. As they settle in, he warns that if the movie isn't good, he'll leave. Then, unexpectedly, he says he's noticed how they've grown closer lately, and it feels like Ibara genuinely enjoys spending time with him. She blushes and lights up with happiness. But flustered, she quickly snaps that he's the one following her. Denial, the official love language of siblings. Shingo isn't convinced. It doesn't seem that way. Ibara, meanwhile, quietly celebrates how she got him to join her and starts planning more ways to enjoy their movie time. But, from her usual expression, he still suspects she's stuck in her rebellious mode, not realizing she's actually going along with everything he says. Little does he know, this is her soft girl era in disguise. So finally, they decided to watch the movie. When he asks which movie it is, Ibara excitedly tells him it's about monsters, specifically, a fierce arc girl and a giant shark going head-to-head. Now the real question is, will Shingo enjoy this wild choice or not? Because nothing says bonding like a shark punching a monster girl. He is caught off guard. He has no idea what kind of vibe this monster movie will bring. Meanwhile, Ibara is all giggles and excitement, thrilled that her brother is finally watching a movie with her. But, just 30 minutes in, he looks like someone being forced to sit through a show he never signed up for. His face says Netflix, but his soul says, help me. Ibara, in the meantime, is completely immersed in the movie. Every scary scene hits her hard. She's so jumpy, it's like watching a scared kitten react to every sound. At this point, the popcorn's flying more than the plot. When Shingo glances at her, trying to hold back a smirk, she suddenly snaps in frustration, insisting she's not scared. She just needs to go to the bathroom. Classic horror logic. Deny everything, scream later. Just then, Shingo playfully pokes Ibara's shoulder. To his surprise, she lets out a loud, terrified scream and suddenly bursts into tears, clinging tightly to him. He is stunned. He had no idea she was actually that scared. His prank turned into a full-blown therapy session. Ibara thinks to herself that he didn't notice how scared she was, and she swears she won't forgive him for laughing. Meanwhile, horror scenes play on, but Shingo can't help thinking this feels more like a comedy than a horror movie. Just then, she remembers the climax is coming up and decides it's her turn to scare Shingo. She grabs a cold soda can, planning to startle him, because when revenge is cold, it's best served from the fridge. Slowly, she touches the can to his neck, but to her surprise, he shows no reaction at all. She blinks, slightly confused. He calmly picks up another cold can and quietly taps it against Ibara's leg. The moment it touches her, she lets out a scream and immediately clings to him, shouting that something cold just came up and grabbed her. Plot twist. The horror movie was inside the living room all along. Seeing her in tears, Shingo quickly promises not to tease her anymore. But Ibara, furious, snaps that she's not letting it go and starts smacking him with a cushion. Caught off guard, Shingo wonders if he might have actually crossed a line this time. As the playful scuffle continues, he tries to make peace by offering his popcorn. Don't be mad, he pleads. Ibara fires back instantly, masking the real reason behind her frustration. She's scared and wants him to walk her to the bathroom. Struggling to get the words out, she mumbles that he should stay close. When he doesn't catch on, she finally blurts it out, red-faced, "Just come with me to the bathroom." Shingo bursts into laughter and the tension breaks. Nothing tests sibling loyalty like ghost-proof bathroom duty. Ibara groans and snaps that she doesn't need the sarcasm. Shingo, still grinning, reminds her of how she used to do the same thing as a kid, dragging him along to the bathroom every time they watched a scary movie. But Ibara's words seem to bounce off. Shingo is somewhere else entirely, distracted and distant. Reaching her limit, she realizes he won't move unless she makes him. Her voice softens as she calls out to him again, this time with quiet determination. She gently grabs his arm, eyes steady, and pleads for real. No more tough front. She's done pretending she's fine. The honesty in her voice finally clicks. Shingo nods. While Ibara's in the bathroom, the harsh lights do little to calm her nerves. Uneasy, she calls out to make sure Shingo hasn't left. He reassures her with a quick response, and she immediately warns him not to move an inch. Her tone, sharp with threat and fear, all at once. He stays put, unmoving, fully aware that he's now been drafted into the role of bathroom bodyguard. When she finally comes out, she waves him back toward the living room. "Come on, let's finish the movie." He watches her for a moment, still catching glimpses of the same little sister she's always been, no matter how much she pretends otherwise. They sink back onto the couch. She nudges him with a grin. "You should be thanking me for all this quality time." Shingo side-eyes her. Maybe this is her latest method of torture. Still, emotional blackmail via popcorn beats jump scares any day. Meanwhile, she hides a quiet triumph mission accomplished. He's finally watching a movie with her. The next day, she anxiously searches every room for her brother but finds no trace of him. Unsure where he's gone, she decides to head to the convenience store. However, the moment she steps outside, she sees him standing right there. As soon as she sees her brother talking to a girl, she's stunned. Ibara's brain, girlfriend detected, alert level Bratty meltdown. Blushing deeply, she wonders if the girl is his girlfriend. Then quickly tells herself she's not sure yet, but she definitely wants to know who the girl is. Research mode activated. Operation Spy on Brother begins. The beautiful girl's name is Kukuri Kuriyama, Shingo's childhood friend. From elementary to high school, she's been by his side, and the bond between them is strong. She knows Shingo has never noticed her, because he's so dense. On the other hand, his sister Ibara, a major Bratty, always gets in the way. But this time, Kukuri is set on taking him on a real date. Too bad she forgot this date comes with a free third wheel. She asks if he'll go to the aquarium with her. He blushes, wondering if she's really asking him out. Shingo sinks into thought, doubting why a girl would ask him out when even his own sister seems to hate him. But if Kukuri really is, he sees a chance and replies yes. Just then, she hears Ibara's voice behind her. She's been listening the whole time. Ibara, standing by the gate, says she's free today too, so she'll join them. Kukuri finds it incredibly annoying, seeing Ibara as a date-blocking Bratty. She tries making excuses to stop her, but Ibara ignores them all, insisting she'll only go if it's with both of them. Kukuri grows even more frustrated. The outing turns into a tug-of-war, with Ibara insisting on tagging along, despite him pointing out that Kukuri invited only him. She claims it's for office work, and that she's using her own money. Shingo, surprised by her determination, decides to let Kukuri take Ibara instead. He'll go another time. Oh, neither girl likes the idea. Both fake agreement and start making excuses, leaving him completely confused. He's beyond dense at this point. Still oblivious, he offers Ibara money to go another time with her friends, since Kukuri gave him a ticket. She refuses at first, then agrees with a hint of sadness. As she heads home, Kukuri unexpectedly calls her back, saying she can come too so long as she behaves. Shingo, surprised, asks if she's serious. Kukuri doesn't want Ibara's sulking to ruin the mood. She returns with a forced thank you, dripping with passive aggression. The two girls exchange cold glances. Kukuri, fed up, wonders why she never gets alone time with Shingo.
Here I am, know it's been a while. I was in denial about my love. Here I stand, I know I walked away.